Votes of confidence are all the rage in the Big Ten. Maryland just gave Mike Loxley one. Wisconsin just gave Luke Fickell one. And despite Jonathan Smith being winless in Big Ten play, despite him being booed at Michigan State basketball games, boy, is it quiet. Is it a little too quiet, though?
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you all so much for making Locked On Spartans your first listen every single day right here on the number one ranked Locked On Podcast Network. Please rate, review, subscribe, comment below if you're wondering the same thing that we are, which is, why no vote of confidence for Jonathan Smith? Because with the one, the only Jeffrey the Greek of the Eyes on Big Ten podcast, that's where we're kicking off today's show. We will get to the basketball game later on in segment 3. We're going to talk about this football game for some reason on Saturday. But right now, Jeffrey, this is now a topic that I've extended for 3 shows because I need help on it. I know a lot of things. I have a lot of strong opinions on a lot of things Michigan State in life. This one, though, I'm a little bit perplexed on, but maybe it's just a straight-up non-story. And that is the fact that Jay Bett, the new select director, has not given this vote of confidence for Jonathan Smith. And that could be just one reason of, hey, when you have a vote of confidence, you are admitting that things are not going right. Or is it because, number 2, Jay Bett doesn't really have confidence in Jonathan Smith, despite their weekly conversations that they do have? Or is it number 3 that they're just going to load up the cannon once the season's over and say, hey, we're sticking with this guy. He's coming back for year 3. We're going to give him financial backing, yada, yada, yada. Jeffrey, as an outsider of the Michigan State fan base, but a overseer of all things Big Ten, how do you make sense of this? The fact that there's been nothing said from Michigan State's side of things, despite Michigan State fans almost needing to hear something?
No sense will be made on this podcast by me. I just want to preface that right now.
Well, you fit right in here. Perfect. That's good.
It's a great conversation. I don't know if I'm going to help. I probably maybe will be the opposite, and I'll just add more questions to the mix. Let me just start by saying this: the Eyes on Big podcast, predominantly myself and Big Kurt, Iowa, Illinois. So know the Big Ten, like you said, not Michigan State guys. We really like Jonathan Smith. At the beginning of the year, at the time of the hire, I was even encouraged how things went last year. It went about like you would expect the first year to go, like snippets of good things, some bad stuff. Certainly, that's what you would expect in year 1. I would not have expected what we've gotten in year 2, which is not only no improvement, but more areas that I think have actually fallen back. So here's the first place my brain goes, and Matt, maybe you can help me out. Behind the scenes, do we know that Jonathan Smith wants to be the head coach and the face of the Michigan State football program? How does Jonathan Smith's wife feel? What do we know the commitment is at? That is the number one thing that I don't know that I'm most curious about.
That is a fantastic question. It's actually funny because we had a crossover with Locked On Hawkeyes. Trent Condon does fantastic work, and I posed the same question to him because I'm picking all brains this week. Not to recycle content, but I just need to get different opinions. And his opinion was, well, to me it seems like, there might be a little deal going on of Jonathan Smith could be going back to Corvallis at Oregon State. There's no vote of confidence because, well, a lot of people are going to stay mum about this. The only people that have to know are the ones that do know. Just everyone, let's walk to the finish line here. We will shake hands, say goodbye to one another, and all go on our merry ways once this season's over. I don't think that is a more than 50% chance what's happening, but it's certainly not 0. I mean, that's a great question, Jeffrey. Does he want to be in East Lansing? I wouldn't blame him if he. And this is horrible. I love Michigan State. No. I love East Lansing. I do the job for free. But look at what's going on here, man. I mean, do you think the NCAA sanctions helped or hurt his want to be here, Jeffrey? I don't know. What do you say to that?
Well, you walked right into what was going to be the next phase of the question, which is there something going on behind the scenes where the fate of both Jonathan Smith has already been decided. Us plebes just haven't found out about it yet. My instincts would be that's what we have, but that's why I prefaced it by asking, do we know? Do we have knowledge that he wants to be here? If we don't have knowledge of that, methinks that something is happening that we won't know about until 36 hours, 48 hours after the Maryland game, or who do you end the year with, right?
It's Maryland,
yeah. So my guess is by that Sunday or Monday, we would know something then. But unfortunately, for the next 10 days or so, you're just going to have to suffer in silence.
I have reason to believe, and I've heard like chatters that like there has been at least contact made. Now, what does that mean? Like, this is why I'm not starting the show with saying, "Oh, Oregon State's attacking Jonathan Smith and going after him." I don't know if that just meant they were still seeing if the agent's phone still even worked. I don't know if they were just asking, "Hey, does it still like the same cup of coffee he liked over here?" I don't know if those are extended conversations, but reason to believe that some sort of contact has been made, but. I go back to the first question you asked. Like, it just comes down to not even football, but just the human element.
Yeah.
Like I said off the top, like he's getting booed at basketball games. Like he's getting drilled in all these Big Ten games. They've lost 6 of their 7 losses by double digits. He got recruiting sanctions. It just came out that he didn't even know Michigan State was being investigated when he was interviewing for the job. He's away from home right now. But it comes down to a human aspect of, well, golly, wouldn't home be calling for you? Now, there is the $30 million, just a little wrench in that whole equation that might change things. But I don't know. Like, I wish I could go inside of his brain. I do.
Is that a wrench is what I would ask. Or if it is a wrench, is it a big wrench in that, with James Franklin, something we've kind of learned here is the next team that hires him essentially pays for the salary and it goes away. So that $30 million could get shrunk down to 5. I'm making numbers up here.
Sure.
But something much less damaging to the athletic department and overall decision process. Again, that can happen regardless if there's a decision made or not. If there is a decision made behind the scenes that we are just in the dark about, that would make more sense too. The terms would come out pretty quickly. There would be a courteous time in between the firing of Smith and the hiring of where he goes, where we make it look like it wasn't already decided before. But in the end, it all works out. So, like, my guess is it's going to be something like that. But I want to be clear. I have no freaking clue, as I'm pretty sure I have just shared.
I mean, we're going full like tinfoil hat right now, but it is within reason. I don't think anything we're saying is too far-fetched, but
I think it's a tinfoil hat. It's maybe like a tinfoil beanie. It's not even taking up our whole head.
Just something you can barely even notice. Like, oh yeah, there's something back there. Because that's what you get when you have no vote of confidence. And this is why I'm making such like a big deal about no news, is because there's no secret, there's no mystery of how Michigan State fans largely feel about Jonathan Smith. Like, I keep using this anecdote, but booed at the basketball game. You know how bad the season has to be going for you to be getting booed at the Breslin Center during a joyous, loving atmosphere of a Michigan State basketball game? Like, things have got to be going off the rails here. So I can only assume that maybe I'm just doing copium. Like, maybe this is just the way I'm handling it, is thinking that this is why, is that there might be a deal going on. But we'll see.
I think there's here. No, I think there's something here. It's not copium. It's just using the available information that we all have here. Long story short, like we're gonna know pretty quick. We're about 10 days away.
Plenty more to come with our guy Jeffrey the Greek, but hey, first guys, game time. That's right, the greatest ticketing app out there. Got to talk to you about it because let's say that you're just like me. You realize that Friday night, 6:30, let's go watch some Michigan State basketball. I cannot wait to be there, taking my oldest kid to his very first Michigan State game. And hey, why not swing by this game? Guys, like on Game Time, tickets are available. You can save right now. Really, no matter when you're listening to this, because Game Time lets you save whether it's days or weeks in advance of a game, or even just hours, if not minutes, up until tip-off, kickoff, the puck drop, first pitch. You get the point. You can save money all the time with Game Time. And my favorite part is that these are tickets that start at $30, and by the time you're ready to check out, all of a sudden they balloon up to $71 tickets, and you're wondering, what scam just happened to me? No. It's up front with Game Time. It's 2 taps on your phone, and bam, the tickets are sent straight there right on your device. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Also, holiday shopping, take care of it right now with Alumni Hall. For all the Spartans in your life, whether it's family, friends, the person you look at in the mirror every single day, hook it up this holiday season with Alumni Hall, because they have Nike, Columbia, Champion, Yeti, New Era, so many more of the top brands that you are looking for. And they have apparel for the entire family. We're talking kids, adults, plus a huge selection of hats, gifts, tailgating gear. Guys, whatever you want for this holiday season, it's going to be at Alumni Hall. And they're also taking care of the MSU community. Michigan State students and faculty, as well as military and all first responders, get 10% off with a valid ID in the store. And on top of all that, go ahead and follow Alumni Hall on social media. Download the Alumni Hall app. You're going to find a lot more special offers and sales there. So pop into Alumni Hall in the Eastwood Town Center in Lansing near the Apple Store, or shop online or through their app. And best part is, for every $150 you spend, you will get $10 in Hall cash to use for the next time. So what are you waiting for? Grab that new game day look for the holiday season, or upgrade your tailgate with Alumni Hall, your ultimate Michigan State shopping destination. Let's say they do announce that he's coming back. You know, they said, hey, we've listened to Locked On Spartans. It's always playing through our athletic department. Yeah, we caught the episodes. Fine. We'll give you an effing vote of confidence, and we're also going to financially back him, yada, 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 the whole 9 yards. What, Jeffrey, what would you have to also see this offseason to, like, truly believe that bringing him back for a third season is the correct thing to do? And I'm putting this question on you because I don't got any answers over here. So you'll get to do the hard work here. Thanks in advance for this, by the way.
Yeah, well, I would say another thing that you just took my brain to just now is maybe Michigan State is waiting on to see what the final tally is and how it's going to work out for this, out of conference financial investment with the California State Penitentiary. And
Sure.
That influx of cash maybe is something that Michigan State is waiting on. Now, that could be waiting on the cash for 2 different reasons.
Yeah.
Waiting on the cash to get rid of our coach and hire the next guy, or waiting on the cash to back our current coach and to sell to our fans that we are going to spend money on roster and overall, talent development. That's where my brain goes. I still have no answers for you. I'm still throwing out things that I think I can see, but that's the best I got.
Tell me if you got the same opinion I do about the backing financially, because Mike Loxley got it, Luke Fickell got it. Any coach that's coming back against the wishes of their fan base, it seems always gets, hey, we're going to put more money towards the roster. When every team does that, though, that kind of seems like a nothing burger for me. Like, great, we're going to throw a bunch of cash at a roster. That's awesome, just like 15 other Big Ten schools are. Sick. Yep. How am I supposed to get jazzed about that? So I'm not falling for it. I'm getting ahead of it. When they have that statement, I'm not going to be the one throwing confetti in the air and saying, all right, we're rich. Everyone's rich now these days. Everyone's rich. No, it seems like you're in agreement here.
It is a fair point. And me as an Iowa guy, I'm like, so do we not throw money at our roster because we're doing pretty good? I know we don't need more money to the roster. We're fine, because then we could fall behind. So I hear you there. I'm with you on that take.
I wanted to, kind of take it back. I know we got a lot of whiplash. Is Smith saying, is he going? Let's go back to the world where he is leaving. Because we gotten a few questions about this at lockedonspartans@gmail.com, and Pat Fitzgerald has been popping off for the last few weeks now in the inbox, just amongst conversation with other Michigan State fans. But Pat Narduzzi has also been making a late push as far as people mentioning him go. So, Jeffrey, let's say that Michigan State, they've waited way too long. Everyone's off the board. Bob Chesney's out of here. Alex Golish. James Franklin's already off the board. Let's say it's just down to Fitzgerald, Pat Narduzzi in this hypothetical world. what would you think would be a better fit for Michigan State as the 2026 hypothetical Michigan State head football coach?
Wow, that's a good one. I would go with Fitzy.
Okay.
I don't know. Narduzzi seems like a little recycled meat type of deal. I don't know. That's Pat Fitzgerald has just always been darn good. I think there are less restrictions at Michigan State than what he had to deal with, especially during his time at Northwestern. So, like, if I am convinced that Pat Fitzgerald wants the job and this is a good fit, that's my choice. A little birdie has told me that Wisconsin was actually what he was most eyeing on, but the vote of, so maybe a vote of confidence in Madison could wind up being a actual confidence booster for people in East Lansing. How about that?
There we go. Sure. And just to give a little tail of the tape for both of these guys, Pat Narduzzi in his 11 years at Pitt, he is 79-59 overall, and he is 1 win away from his 6th 8-win season in his 11 years, which, look, it's not like Pitt's like down in the dumps program, but that's pretty good based on, where Pitt is. Despite like just being an NFL draft factory, by and large, it's like an okay program, and he's done fairly well there, I'd say.
But it's the ACC, so like if he's that good of a coach, shouldn't he be winning a game and a half more in the ACC? Because now you have to go to the Big Ten with kind of the same. Listen, Michigan State has been a much better program than Pittsburgh the last 30 years. Full stop. I want to be clear there. But if you're doing pecking order in the Big Ten for where Michigan State ranks compared to pecking order in the ACC where Pitt ranks, I can't do the math right off the top of my head, but I would say pretty even, like on the upper half, but not deep into the upper half. And that's all the games he won there. And I don't know, things just seem a bit chaotic in Pitt under Narduzzi. Like it, I don't know.
I mean, I'm talking about. I'm complaining about a house that's on the market that I looked at as my current one's burning down. Right? Like I don't know. Like really wish it had 2 levels. There's a lot of cracks in the driveway. Meanwhile, like my windows just got blown out and there's just brush fire everywhere.
I understand.
So I don't know. Pat Narduzzi doesn't really move the needle for me. We had a lot of great memories about 12 years ago when he was the defensive coordinator.
I understand.
Sure.
Yeah. But some guys sometimes the crackpots are just kept, they're best with the defensive headset. Sometimes that's the case. Let me ask you, I obviously had, certain ties to this, but I think Matt Campbell seems like a better fit than all of those.
I would take, I'm surprised I haven't heard that name, or I mean, guilty as charged. I haven't even brought that name up as often as I should. And maybe it's just because it just gets repetitive to see his name in these cycles. Oh, Is he going to take this job? Is he going to take that job? But maybe it just eventually, my brain has been trained to just realize that maybe he's never leaving Ames. Maybe he's just going to die there, just be a god for the rest of, his eternal life in Cyclone Country. So I don't know if he is available. I would certainly be fine there because, look, I'm about to say that I would be okay with Pat Fitzgerald, I think. Like 17 years at Northwestern, 110 and 101, so a smidge above 500 at Northwestern. But again, at Northwestern, a lot of limitations there. He's gone to 10 bowl games there. Now, the caveat is, well, there's 2 of them. It's the 4-20 in the last 2 seasons. And then the baggage. And while he wasn't completely officially exonerated, they did reach a settlement with the university. Pat Fitzgerald said he feels, quote, 100% vindicated. I'm sure there's 1,000 layers to that, of course.
I'm on Team Fitzy with that. I just want to be clear. He got railroaded by Northwestern, and there's a reason he won that case. So, like, I don't think that should be a factor with Fitzy at all.
Of course not, but that's the joy of not being in Detroit or around the Detroit media. They are never kind to Michigan State here. So that'll be a thing right off Jump Street is that, oh my God, he had all these allegations around at Northwestern.
Interesting.
I already know how this is all going to play out, but look, everyone's going to take their sides. Oh, he's vindicated. No, he's not. No one's going to change each other's sides. I, for one, think, based on all the information in front of me, it seems to me like when you reach a good settlement with a college, I seem to think that you came out on top there, but maybe I'm missing some information. maybe that someone's gonna just how about me in the email inbox, but whatever.
No.
Between the two,
No,
I think
it.
I would go with Fitzgerald though. So that's
Yep.
I can convince myself of Fitzgerald. I just think I got to work a little bit harder to do it if it is Narduzzi. So that's kind of
there you go.
Where
There's
I'm at
answer.
here. But
yep.
yeah, I'm glad we got to talk about that because I mean it's funny, it's ridiculous. I know how absurd this is doing coaching search talk. Well, we have a guy that is gainfully employed and still on our sidelines here, but we've been doing it for like a month and a half because that's a conversation that Spartan fans are already having right now. More to come, including breaking down this Friday night basketball game, 5 best bets. But speaking of bets, guys, FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, they have Michigan State at 15.5-point underdogs on the road at Iowa. Look, if you're far beyond the point of football at this point, I get it. The NBA's back, and there's no better place to get in on all the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Now, even if you miss the start of a game, you want to ride the hot hand, whatever it is that you want, FanDuel has the live bets on everything from who's going to score next to the fourth quarter comeback. Whatever it is, guys, they got it over there at FanDuel. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout. Keeps every game more exciting, especially when it's your team making that late-game push. So what are you waiting for, guys? Right now, FanDuel's offering new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head over to FanDuel.com to sign up today. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Jeffrey, before we let you go and enjoy your weekend and this upcoming 25-point victory for your Hawkeyes. Can you give me, and this is actually my hardest question. You always save the hardest question for last, is what they taught at Michigan State. Give me a reason to watch Saturday. I will, because I don't know any better, but
yeah,
you better. I'm a mentally stable person, and you're trying to sell me on this game as a Michigan State fan. Eliminated from bowl contention. Why should I watch?
Well, I think Tao Tulliver has been appointment television play.
Okay.
He is a good-looking running back. So I'm impressed by him. It's not just what he did last week versus Penn State. Although Nick Marsh has been a little bit on the back of a milk carton, I think it's fair to say Iowa lost their number 1 cornerback in that USC game. So we are down our number 1 guy. The offensive line is banged up for Iowa. And we're coming off 2 heartbreaking losses.
Yeah.
So those are all of the reasons I picked Michigan State to cover. I still have Iowa winning the game, but I don't know. By the way, I try to follow every single game live. It's tough when there's 8 games, on the Big Ten weekend. Yeah. So certainly I follow, I make notes. We record the podcast and let you in a little bit of secret. Sometimes I go back through and then rewatch the games and maybe learn a few things before we record on Wednesday. So I rewatched that Michigan State. I rewatched that Michigan State Penn State game, knowing what the final stats were. And I'm like, when do all these rushing yards take off for Penn State? I know they had 240 rushing yards. They didn't happen until 3 minutes left in the game. I just want to say Michigan State was playing pretty good defense in that game, except for the 2 explosive plays that were all the way back in the first half. So that shows me that Michigan State was still playing hard. So I think Iowa is a little bit better version of Penn State. And I think, you got Penn State at home. So I think Iowa, has enough there to win the game. I've got 27-13 for the final score. But I think a late touchdown for Iowa kind of puts it away. But I don't think it's going to be a comfortable Saturday afternoon, evening for Iowa fans, which means there'll be quite a bit of game for Michigan State fans to watch, saying, we could pull this thing out. That's my thought process. So yeah.
If games were 45 minutes long, maybe even 50 minutes long, we got a top 5 defense in the last few weeks. We are
but it's right.
Tight. However,
it does wear down. Yeah. Yeah. It does wear down.
Unfortunately, play 60 in the Big Ten. Yeah.
And you look at Michigan State, there's, other than the sacks given up, there's nothing that Michigan State is awful at. But there's a whole lot of things that it's not very good at. That's the best way I can describe Michigan State. Yeah.
Apt description. That unfortunately hits it right on the nose. But hey, you know what they say? Good teams win, great teams cover, and it sounds like Jeffrey's got us covering. So let's just leave it at that. There we go. Jeffrey, this has been fantastic, guys. Go catch his work over at Eyes on Big, or Eyes on Big 10 as I called it. I'm sorry for that. I'm programmed to see the B1G and just say Big 10. So
I understand.
I just have to scrub that from my brain. So Jeffrey, you're the best, man. Much appreciated. And guys, don't go too
Thank
far.
you.
We have 5 best bets coming up, and we're inching closer to getting above 500. Still some work to be done. But before that, hey, let's smile. Let's talk basketball, because that's right. University of Detroit, they're going down, baby. Actually, super quick before we get to basketball, just want to shout out women's soccer really quick, because Kayla Briggs, that's right, her goal was the only goal against Wake Forest in the NCAA tournament game at DeMartin Stadium. And now for the 3rd straight year, your women's soccer team is going to the Sweet 16. Now, if you want to see them for yourself in action, Sunday at 1 p.m., they are hosting Colorado with the trip to the Elite 8 on the line. So shout out to the women's soccer team really quick, guys. Let's talk about this basketball game, which... Oh, poor Mark Montgomery. Look, this is on Torvik. And of course, I'm saying barttorvik.com. Love that website, as many of you guys know. This is the largest projected spread Michigan State will have the rest of the season. Now, that is subject to change, of course, and that spread is a 30-point deficit that they are predicting for Michigan State to overtake the Titans with. They are predicting a 90-60 Spartan victory on barttorvik.com. Now, Detroit is the 307th ranked team on Torvik. So, what's the deal with the Titans here? Again, coached by Mark Montgomery in his 2nd year with the Titans, a program that is in dire straits. That is a rough job that he had to overtake right there. Anyway, the Titans, they are 1-4 on the season. They beat Cleary. That's right, suck it, Cleary. Cavaliers, Cocoons, who knows what their nickname is? Who cares? Anyway, the 4 losses, they lost by 20 points to Illinois, Chicago. They lost by 32 to Notre Dame. They lost by 7 to Toledo. And then they lost by 10, most recently, to Eastern Michigan. So here's what they do well. I try to do this when we preview mid to low major teams, is at least highlight something they do well. And it's like, oh, man, I want to see U of D thrive. Like, I take no joy in this. I want to see this program become what it once was many years ago, but just be relevant. They really don't do much well, guys. They shoot 73.8% free throws. That's good for 123rd best in the country. Their point guard, Orlando Lovejoy, he scored 16.5 points per game last year. He's doing it just below 14 points per game this year. Now, he's not a three-point shooter. He loves a good mid-range. He'll take the ball to the rack. Outside of that, Detroit's offensive efficiency is 299th in the country. And I know the season is still young, but we all understand what's going on here. This has been a program that has struggled for quite some time. Defensively, they're somehow even worse. They are 305th in defensive efficiency. They're not really long. They are overall a pretty young team. They don't really get to the free throw line a lot. They send other teams to the free throw line a lot. They're actually outside the top 300 in the free throw rates, both offensively and defensively. So, hey, if Tom Izzo wanted to see his team get some free throw practice in, I think, 10 attempts they had against Kentucky? That could be wrong, but it wasn't a lot. This could be a game to actually have some opportunities to do that in an in-game situation. Now, here's a real big negative, which I actually am going to turn into a positive for Detroit here. And the negative is that they are shooting 22.8% from 3 right now, which is 355th out of 365 teams. I'll say that percentage one more time. They're shooting 3-pointers at 22.8%. Now, here's the positive. Now, here's where it might get a little interesting in this game. Is that, surely no team can be that bad, right? We actually just had this conversation previewing the Michigan State-Kentucky game. That Michigan State was shooting the rock at 20%, right, going into the Kentucky game. And I don't think that they will be a good shooting team, but certainly they're not that horrible, right? Eventually math kicks in, and you're going to have a game that's going to be an outlier, that's going to bring that average up to a more natural number, right? Like a 33%, a 34%. I refuse to believe that Detroit is actually that bad of a shooting team at 22.8%. Especially when their free throw shooting, like, isn't horrible. It's a 73.8. Like, there is some, on a good day, some decent shooting in there. I just hope to God that water doesn't start to find its level and they don't pop off for like some crazy, like, I don't know, 9 of 18 or like 10 of 17 shooting day from three-point land against Michigan State. I hope they could do that against another team, but yeah, that's like the weird thing. It is a negative. They are horrendous at shooting the three-point ball, but it's still young enough in the season where that's a small sample size, and these guys get scholarships too. Like, surely somewhere in that team is a better than 22% shooting team. So we'll see where it nets out here. Really quick, actually, speaking of basketball, I just want to shout out the women's hoops team really quick before getting to 5 best bets, because Robin Freilich squad, they have moved to 5-0. They've scored over 90 points in every single game. Most recently on Thursday night, they pounded Eastern Illinois 101-53. Now, they are bludgeoning these teams. They really haven't faced the stiffest competition. I think even Robin Freilich will be the first to admit that. But they forced 27 turnovers out of Eastern Illinois, which is actually a downgrade on the season. Because going into this game Thursday night, they were leading all Power 5 teams in women's basketball with 30.5 turnovers forced per game. That is... It's just a brutal style of basketball to play against. I mean, that's high-flying action from Robin Freilich's squad. Guys, let's get to 5 best bets. Last week, we went 3-2. Brings our overall record up to 28-32, and we are swimming in just Big Ten waters only for this week. The game of the week for the whole country, it's a crappy slate, but hey, you know what? This game should be a good one. USC, Oregon, we're going to go under 59.5 for that game. Now, Illinois, the Fighting Burt Bielemas, minus 8.5 at Wisconsin against his old foes up there. So why not? I think that they could lay the wood against Wisconsin. I like over 46.5 in Maryland in the Michigan game. Over 46.5 because you are looking at one of the premier freshman quarterbacks, not just in the conference, but in the whole country. There's a lot of fanfare around him. And then there's Bryce Underwood on the other sideline. So we're going to go over 46.5 for that one. Penn State minus 8.5 against Nebraska. They're at home. Yes, both teams are starting backup quarterbacks at this point, but based on what we saw last week with Penn State's front, that's still a good front. Cannot say the same about Nebraska on either side of the ball. We like the Nittany Lions minus 8.5 there. And for this game, Michigan State, Iowa, over 42.5, I guess. Whatever, man. All right, guys. Hey, we're going to be back probably late on Saturday is my guess if things get squirrely early on Sunday. But I expect to see you guys next on Saturday. We will recap both the football game and the basketball game in that Saturday show. But, guys, until then, take care of yourselves. Hey, if you run into me at the game, pop over, say hi. You guys are the best people of all time. It is always great talking with listeners, viewers of this show. So, yeah. Hey, hopefully run into one or two of you guys. That'd be awesome. But hey, if not, take care of yourselves. Enjoy your weekend. Love you all. Go Green.